how did you start as a dating strategist? Like, how does one do that?
It was one of those things I was hesitant to talk about the things I really wanted to talk about. I came from the entrepreneurship space. I had a startup in my 20s and we merged with a media company. And then, it was kind of like a process of self-discovery for me. So I was trying to dip into different things. I wrote a book. It was all around personal development. And then I kind of niched it out on the dating side, just something I've always been really passionate about. Mm-hmm. I've always been very interested in like the intricacies and the dynamics between men and women early stage. So I was hesitant to talk about it for sure.
Like you were worried that people were going to judge you or like, or were you worried about your friends or like people that like that you don't know? Yeah,
I think in general, you're worried. I was specifically more like an identity box I've been. Mm-hmm. You get known for one thing, you know yourself for one thing. Everybody knows you for one thing. And to dip out of that was a little, seemed a little bit risky. It's like, yeah, of course, people are going to think, well, what does he know about this? What does he know about this? But so I went on TikTok and I started doing it on TikTok because it was where I felt most comfortable. Nobody knew me. It was a playground where nobody's there for me.
I don't have a TikTok. And I'm going to create one.
Now you have to have one. Mm-hmm. You should get one. But it was a playground for me. So I kind of built brand on TikTok for myself. And then after that, I brought it to Instagram when I felt like it was more like people were like, oh, they liked it. It resonated, And I was on TikTok before I started to do dating stuff. It was just more like high-level personal development stuff, risk assessment, failure, startup stuff. And
when did it take off for you, though?
It took off when I started talking about dating. And that was about the minute I took the first one.
Wow.
Yeah, first one. And, I went from like 400 views to like 40,000 at the time. At the time, that was like some shift. I was like, oh, something's resonating more.
What year was this?
Was that? It was.
Was it during the pandemic?
No. No, it was like end of 2023.
Okay.
2024 even maybe.
Why do you think it surged when you started talking about dating?
I think a variety of reasons. Maybe dating, just the idea of dating itself is a little polarizing for people. It's interesting. Mm-hmm. It's a universal struggle, universal problem, not specific to this country or nation. And on top of that, I think that the delivery matters a little bit, half the battle as well, where maybe the delivery mattered. I don't really know. Could have been a variety of things, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, I think the way you deliver it, lots of people talk about dating on, social media.
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course.
But the way you do it, you hooked me right in because you're so authentic. I love the jokes. You've got jokes for days with the, listen, Becky, listen, Sally. I find it hysterical.
I think it's important to make dating fun and not too serious. When people sit up there and start talking about data and all this other shit, listen, it's fine. You can talk about the data and all that, but data says half the point. Mm-hmm. You really have to understand the other half, which is the application of the data. And you need people to relate to your point. It's not about using people as numbers or decimals. It's about understanding how to use that and apply it to a real world scenario. And sometimes you got to make those scenarios fun and interesting and engaging. And if you can't do that, I find that you're not really resonating as much, I would say.
Yeah. How do you come up with the content? Because you're always rolling new stuff out, but it's like, how do you continue to generate new stuff?
I think people in general, some people just know things or can come up with ideas around certain topics easier than other topics. Mm-hmm. Like for you, it might be something else. And for me, it's one of those things that I won't go a day without creating any content because it's just, I can come up with things off the top, be like, I feel like this would be a struggle, or overhear a conversation, or I'll imagine myself in that moment before of what are the things I feel like are beneficial here. Mm-hmm. And, most of the time I do speak to women. So it's a niche of that, which is I talk to a lot. I have a live show I do on TikTok. It's a call-in show.
I got to get on TikTok.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's where I built my base, which is interesting.
It's a call-in show?
It's a call-in show, and I've been doing it for 2 years. I have 20 women calling a night.
Tell me about it.
4 or 5 nights a week, depending, but mostly 4 now.
It's all around dating. Do you vet them before they call, or is it just...
they're all in the queue. So you go live, and then there's a queue of people that want to call in live.
Okay.
And then you just kind of go and start bringing people in, and then they talk. Hey, this is Louisa from New Zealand, and I'm calling in, and I asked location, age, and then we go into the breakdown, and I try to make it as entertaining, but also fun and informative as possible, which hopefully it is, people like it. So
what's some of the craziest stuff that you've heard?
I've heard some crazy shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah. Girls getting played by guys in wheelchairs and all types of shit. Yeah. Cheated on. And I can go down the list. It's just, it gets a little wild.
Do you ever get stumped?
No, I mean, like, not necessarily stumped. It's just really like a frame of decision making that I feel like is important to navigate through. It's not really like a stump. I mean, there's people that come in with general issues, and there's people that come in with more specific ones. Specific ones I always find more interesting. Yeah. General ones, it's wide, broad stroke, a little too applicable to some degree, but it's not specific enough to, you know, like generally somebody could say, oh, I'm just struggling with dating. And there's like really nowhere to go unless I dig my nose there.
Right.
And I have to understand, well, why are you struggling with dating? Do you not like dating? Are you avoiding men at all costs?
Yes.
Matter of fact, I heard you were.
Yes. Yes. I tagged you in that. Yeah, no, I'm awkward. I can't do the app thing. Like when I first got divorced, my girlfriend put me on like a bunch of apps, and it lasted for like a week. So I was like, I can't do this. What do you think of apps?
I think we have high expectations for apps. I think that's part of the problem. I think it's like when you have an app and you make that your sole way of meeting people, there's a lot of expectation and a lot of power you give to apps, and people tend to do that. They expect to like find gold on a free app. It's an app. It's just like a tool, like everything else, in my opinion. And I just think when people have these unrealistic expectations of what they're supposed to get dished and deserved on a big platter, I think it's kind of unrealistic and ridiculous.
Do you have a favorite app that you like?
Not really. No, honestly, I'm not a big app person. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I don't even
Says
advise
the man
for
on
them.
TikTok.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a dating app person. I don't talk about that. But I push people kind of away from the app stuff. Unless like there's always scenarios where I feel like it's more important for people to have apps. Like if you're not in a metropolitan area and it's hard for you to get out and meet people, sometimes it's beneficial to be on an app. I just think if you're in a big city, I think you kind of need to spend more time, if not push the apps away, in my opinion.
Do you think that you can really connect with somebody and like actually meet someone and have a meaningful connection?
It happens all the time.
App? Yeah.
It happens all the time. I mean, it doesn't mean it happens the majority of the time, and maybe not be the people that you exactly want or exactly like. I just think that it's always possible. It's just I don't like to focus on the apps. I just they create too many complexities around it. I just think we need to get back a little bit to sending out social signals and understanding your environment so you can actually do that.
Is that your 3H rule or your what is it called?
Yeah, there was one that I did a while ago. Honestly, I've done something, I don't remember what it was, but essentially it was along the lines of like proximity, eye contact, smile. I've always done that. But hi, hey, hello.
What's the, what about the back it up? Bessie, what's the?
Double bag Bonnie.
Double bag Bonnie, yes. Yeah.
You know, those things kind of come off the cuff when I do them. Like I'm not like writing them down or anything. Like some of them stick, right? Like that stuck for whatever reason. Like the double bag Bonnie sticks with people because it's like, the entendre with the word, but it's the most simplest form. It's like all my stuff, everything that I do is just so, I oversimplify
organic.
Everything. And it's so commonsensical. It's not really like I'm saying anything that innovative, honestly.
Right.
I'm just creating things that make them fun and memorable sometimes, and people sometimes need that. But like double back Bonnie is just another way of saying when you pass a dude, you can make eye contact, look back at him. Like it's really that simple.
Yeah.
And it gives a cue for him to really do something. If he doesn't do it, he doesn't do it.
My problem is I will do that. I'm super flirty and I always have been, and I will look back, but then if he doubles back, like I'm already 3 blocks down and I ducked into a lobby.
So wait, you're already out? You're already out? You checked out already?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So why do you check out so quick? Why do you run from it when you give it?
I don't know. I have no idea.
What are you like afraid of at the moment? I'm just curiosity.
I don't know. Maybe it is just getting to know someone. I think what I've noticed is like when you do start talking to someone, it's like in my experience, people want to like lock you down fast. I don't know if that's just common across all dating, but like I was married for 10 years. Once I got divorced, I was like, oh, I'm free. I felt like I was set free from a cage. And I enjoy being single, but when it comes to like dating, people take it so seriously and they want to like lock you down. Have you experienced that? Is that like
maybe they just want to lock you down. Maybe you're the thing they're trying to get.
I don't know.
Many women don't really say that to me personally. That's a good problem to have, I think, but not too fast, obviously.
Right. And so like, how would you address that when you, like, let's say you go on a first date with somebody and you want to make sure that they know that by date 3, if we get to a date 3, I don't necessarily want to get like locked into anything. I just want to continue dating. Like, can you set ground rules like that?
Of course you can. I mean, you can definitely keep it open-ended. Typically it's the other way around.
What do you mean?
Typically women are the ones that are looking for the lockdown.
Really? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, almost
So
every
I'm the problem.
No, it's not the problem. I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
think it's a unique perspective and difference that maybe many others won't understand where you're coming from.
Okay.
with that. But I think typically it's the reverse. When,
Got it.
you know, the mainframe problems is that guys typically have problems getting dates with the girls they kind of like.
Mm-hmm.
Girls have a problem keeping the kind of guys that they really like around. And there's like this commitment thing and then the dating thing. Like girls typically control dating.
Yeah.
Guys typically control commitment. That's why girls call in and they always ask me, it's always between like the 2-week mark and like the 4-month mark that they always talk about, well, then he didn't call back there and then his habit changed and then this happened and this happened. So there's all these factors that go into like, when are we going to commit energy?
Yeah.
Which is different from what we're talking about now, which is funny.
No, I think it's just a weird place to be in, especially like dating after divorce and like in my
definitely.
40s, I'm about to turn 44 years old. And
Wow, I thought you were like 33.
stop. No, thank you.
Oh, seriously.
You're funny.
I'm dead serious.
No.
Wow.
But like, I feel like, I don't know, dating's just awkward and it's hard to get to know. I don't know, to really genuinely get to know people. And I think having come from television too, for 20 years, I was a news anchor.
Oh, for who?
For Fox in Seattle.
Oh, dope.
Most recently. And yeah, it's like having dinner across from someone. When I first got divorced, it's like they wanted their own personal broadcast. They wanted the TV version.
Yes.
And not like me.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I don't know how to navigate that.
Well, you might be a different, unique perspective, you know,
Yeah.
I think in that sense, right? Like people who are like in front of camera or have a presence online that tends to be like a turned on, like, you know, you're turned on when you're on there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And maybe obviously they expect that, you know, like
Right.
I remember when I first started this, when I was dating, you know, there was a girl, I went on a date with a girl who wasn't from New York, and she sat down with me and she goes, you know, I don't know, where's the guy on camera? And I was like, what do you mean?
Oh, she wanted you to perform
Well, she
for
wanted
her.
me, yeah, she wanted me to like check her. You know what I mean? And it was really weird. I was like, I'm not here to like check you. Like this is, you know, content is content.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I am, that is a version of me, but this is a different version of me.
Not walking around the grocery store checking
No,
people.
she wanted me to check her. Like literally like she wanted the back and forth. She wanted the friction build. I was like, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm not into it.
Yeah.
That doesn't get me.
Yeah.
But that was like a thing, like people imagining you being one version of yourself online.
And do you use like your psychology background? I know you studied psychology. Do you use that like when you're giving people advice?
It's hard to tell, you know. It's a good question. Thank you for saying that. I don't know. It's a good question, but like it's hard to tell. I don't know. Like I'm into human behavior and I'm into the way people think and imagine things. I really appreciate that, but I don't know if I'm not like, you know, I don't diagnose people with anything. Not that I could, but I don't, even if I could. I think it's wild. I think we live in a wild world that people are diagnosing everybody for anything right now. So
Do you think a lot of people are avoidant?
in what way?
Like
Like in
avoidant
relationships?
of like getting into some sort of commitment.
I think it depends on their background and their history and what they went through before that. That could indicate if they're more avoidant than not. But like, you know, I think the word avoidant and I think the word narcissist, I think the word love bombing, I think the word anxious, I think all these words have just been a little bit overused. It's hard to see what really means what. And, you know, when it comes to like avoidant, I talk to a lot of people who claim to be avoidant when really they're just really fearful of like anything going down and not going their way and them not being able to deal with it when it doesn't go their way. And I understand there's some people out here that are really like avoidant to some degree that have a very difficult time with that. But like everything that gets overused, you can't really tell, you know, and I don't know. I think it depends where they come from and their upbringing and everything else. I'm not sure.
So when you do like one-on-one sessions,
Yeah.
how do those go? What's the format?
Yeah, those go. I make it very clear from the get-go that this is not a therapy session. So I'm not, you know, this is really a dating strategy session and it's personal for you. And I'm not going to repeat any of this, but so it's not like I'm trying to figure out their childhood. Matter of fact, I don't even ask them. I ask them where they came from and I might ask if they have a brother or sister and all that stuff, but just to give some like indicator, but I'm not trying to find out why their attachment style comes from where it is. Really not my position.
Yeah.
And because I do think that's important, right? Like I think that we as people, we have things from our childhood. We all have problems. We all have baggage. We all have luggage from previous relationships. We all have things that maybe we don't love about that.
Sure.
But that's nobody else's problem, you know? And if you don't feel like you're ready to deal with somebody else because of you have this problem, then maybe you're not ready to date. Maybe you may have to go address that, because I've always said, you know, you don't want to make the last person or the new person pay for the last person's problems. And I just think
that's a really great point. Yeah.
You know, people go out there with all types of shit and they use it as like a ticket. Like they were looking for a way for you to understand them. But like hard enough that people don't really have to understand our problems and our baggage. They just see you for you. They see who's coming in front of them right now. You know, like you shouldn't have to understand Mike's, the guy you're going on a date with, where he got his attachment from or what his 4 exes did to him. Like, listen, we're just meeting. I only know you as you.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the best, freshest version of you right now. Everything else, I'm not going to lie, I don't know you well enough, nor should I have to understand or care as much about where this all came from.
Yeah.
So I think that's important to note. And when people come to me with, I have this, okay, maybe you do, maybe you don't, right? But the problem is that somebody new and fresh and somebody you really want may not want to put up with that. And
So
that's something to be okay with that.
what is it? What are your services that you offer to them?
So the people on the call?
Yeah.
Well, it depends, right? There's 2 ways it typically goes. Either it goes very general, like general dating problems, like, you know, I haven't had a relationship in 20 years, or I've never kissed a guy. I've had all these things. Or it's, I'm in a situation with a guy for 3 months. I'm trying to understand
Is that
X,
a
Y, and Z.
situationship?
Situationships aren't really bad in nature. It's just about what people want, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't really care what they're doing. I just want to know what they want. Because you go from there, you know, I want outcome A. And then we kind of go into like, what kind of identity do you need to embrace to obtain outcome A? And that's really where we work through, you know? So like, it's really a decision-making kind of process. It's like, if, you know, for example, like, if do you want to just do yoga, or do you want to be a yogi? I just think those are 2 very different questions. You know, one is a lifestyle. It's just the way you carry yourself. It is who you are. It's not, I'm competing in a CrossFit competition. It's you're a CrossFitter. 2 different things.
When I thought about like what you do for work as a dating strategist, it made me think of the movie The Materialist. Have you seen it?
I have.
What did you think of that? Is it anything like that, first of all?
No, I mean, I don't do any matchmaking in that sense, but it definitely, you know, you definitely get to hear people that talk just like that. It was an interesting movie. I thought it was okay.
Yeah. Was it realistic or no?
Yeah, it was more realistic. I mean, they overemphasize the points, but I do think it's how people see things. Thank God to social media, you know, and stuff like that, where, listen, I just think people are overwhelmed with information. And I think that creates this like weird sense. Like, I think men and women get 2 different streams of content.
Oh,
when they get
of course. Yeah.
So I think that when women come into my show or like hear my content, I'm the opposite and antithesis of back rubbing. You know, I'm not that guy. I just never have been. And it's hard for me to see it that way. Like, I get people go through things, but I'm much more of a self-accountability kind of mirror reflection type guy.
Which
So
I
all
really
my
enjoy
content is
that. Yeah, I think that's why I followed your content.
Yeah, and I think there's a way to do it that's not demeaning or anything like that. I think that when I hear people do it, I'm like, that was ridiculously stupid. But, you know, some people can be a little bit overbearing on it. But like sometimes, like, for example, my thesis before I do any content or anything is really about like, if I had a sister, how would I say it? What would I say? And that's kind of how I do all my content.
Yes.
Because it's like when you have a sister, I don't want nothing from you. I don't really care, but here's how it goes. And I think that's like an important way to think about it as a guy, because some guys that I've seen, just in general, when they do talk to women online, it's much more of like they want to be accepted by them. And nothing my stuff really kind of comes across that way, or at least I hope not.
Yeah. The messages that I get online, that's funny. That's why this show is named Respectfully. Because I was telling my colleagues here that in my DMs, guys will send me messages, and usually it's like my DMs are like a dumpster fire. It's a sewer, but they will start them off with respectfully, and then say, you know, some kind of sexual comment or or send me a picture that I don't need to see, or you know. But it was always with respectfully. And so I was telling them,
show me your, something ridiculous.
Ridiculous, but they're saying it in a respectful way.
Oh my God.
And so, yeah, that's why we named the show Respectfully.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's where it came from?
Yes. Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah. Do you think social media has ruined dating in any way?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, like if we're going to compare it, when we say ruined, if we're going to compare it to like what dating maybe have been in the past, like romance and romantics. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And on both sides too, right? I hear both arguments. I understand, that guys have become a little more, if I can curse, I don't like pussified, I guess you can call it.
Yeah.
Some good reasons, some bad reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the flip side, because like I think that guys typically get content that are more of like, like don't be a soft so and so. Get out. It's much more of like you control.
Yeah.
the
What does your
narrative.
feed look like?
It depends. Like I don't get a lot of dating stuff in my feed. Ironically enough, I don't know why, but I don't. Whereas women tend to get more of like,
I'm your
you're
target
powerful.
demographic.
You're powerful.
Yeah.
You can own. You don't need to put up with. Keep your heavy standard, all this kind of like thing. And while I think that's in nature intentionally very good, I think it's very detrimental because it's more around self-empowerment, and relationships are not about self-empowerment. I think that's part of it. It's about kind of, there has to be a realm of humility in there. And if you don't have the humility, you're really in a relationship with yourself. And that's a beautiful thing, but it's not about, that's not a dynamic for really effective dating and trying to understand somebody else.
Yeah.
I just think that the self-empowerment tool goes way too far. Then you get a bunch of entitled people walking around thinking that they don't need to do anything for nobody. You should understand me. Nobody should understand you. And you need to learn how to understand somebody else. Both sides actually. But I talk to more women. So I'm a little biased in that perspective.
Is there a common theme that you hear from them?
Theme. I hear, yeah, I guess so. You could say that, listen, all women want a great quality guy, and I think that social media and dating apps have kind of ruined that landscape. I feel for women in this way because men don't have the same problems. They have problems, just different problems. And the problem that I think that women have is that it's very difficult to understand how to buckle up and categorize the attention they get. There's a lot of attention. It could come from some guy they see here. It could come from some guy they see here and everywhere in between. And it's really difficult to understand what that attention means. Why is this attention here? Because guys will give you attention really just for existing and for a plethora of reasons, right? Maybe they like the idea of commitment with you at some point in their life. Maybe they want a little cookie from you. Maybe they just want to flirt with you and have you as a pen pal. There's so many varieties there, whereas guys don't get that attention from girls unless they're actually interested in them to some degree from like, there's something about this guy I like.
Yeah.
And not just for, casual hookup and everything like that. They don't typically get that.
What kind of challenges do guys face when it comes to dating?
A variety, but it's much more early on that they face them. It's not after a month in. It's typically, the first week and 2 weeks. Guys typically fuck it up with, sorry if I'm correct. I don't know.
No, yeah.
Guys typically fuck
freely.
it up with, at the beginning stages, getting to date one. The girls they like, they fuck up the approach. They don't know how to come off non-creepy, or they're a little too much, or they're a little too little. They're not showing any interest, and they're a little fearful too. They're just as afraid as women are. They're just in different ways.
I think like when I'm attracted to someone and like there's a good chemistry and then a potential for a good connection, which is like super rare. But if someone does catch my eye, I think my fear is that they're gonna ruin my whole idea of them, like by lying to me or doing something stupid, like what you were saying. They fuck it up like right off the bat.
Yeah, it tends to be early on. They do, but what I've noticed too is, right, I think that there's a lot of people in general, but definitely when it comes to women on this, because I do speak to more women here, but people in general are willing to bend and mold their standards for people they like. Everybody has a sheet. Ask you what you want a guy. Everyone's going to say the same fucking thing the whole time. They're going to say the same shit. Oh, I want him to be honest, respectful. I want him to be masculine and in fit, shape. All these
6 foot.
Everybody wants the same things from a guy. Everybody.
6'2" finance. Yeah.
Right. But when people come across people they actually like, and that something about them is a reflection of, showing them more about who they are, or something that stems back to their childhood, or something that they feel seen by somebody else, they're willing to bend and mold these things. They, they have those things just as like a template thought. But when you meet somebody you actually like, some of this shit gets thrown out the door. You just like this person and you want to see where it goes.
Yeah.
That's a healthier framework to operate from. And I think people should start doing that more.
I feel like everyone has a level of toxic. And for me, like my toxic is like, let's say I like a guy and like he's saying all the right things and doing all the right things. I will literally throw everything at him to make him go the other way. I don't know why I do that. Like, do you hear from women who do that?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it's a test. You know, a lot of girls do that unconsciously. Yeah. They
I'm very aware.
Well, some people are aware, some people aren't. So you test the guy. Let me ask you a question, if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah.
Where do you think that comes from? Like, why do you test him? I'm not saying there's a little test couldn't go far, but why do you overly do it until he bounces?
Because I don't know. I'm like, I think I just assume it's going to happen anyway. So I might as well just make it happen soon. I don't know. I'm not sure. Like that I haven't diagnosed in myself, but I am aware when I'm doing it.
Fair. Yeah. And I'm not a psychologist, and I want to say that, but I do see a pattern where I hear this from a lot of women that they will kind of get into positions with guys where it starts getting a little too real for them, and then maybe they like them a bit much, and then if things start to arise, they'll start creating problems.
Definitely, if I really like them,
yeah, they'll start creating a little bit of friction and problems, so that if they had fears of it ending, that at least they ended it on their terms, so they can have control back.
Yes,
it's like a control thing.
Yes,
well, kind of, because like, you know, if it ends on his terms, you're like, but I didn't like him anyway. You know, he did this, and I don't know, he did that last time, and I didn't really like him anyway. So that's right. And then they call into my stream, and they're like, why would he do that?
Yeah.
And it's, you know, I think some part of it is a little bit of control. I don't know about for you, but I hear that often.
I definitely have control. I have control issues for sure. So maybe that's what it is. So like, at least I'm the one who's managing the relationship and when it ends.
At least if it ends on your terms, not his. Because it's like a leverage thing.
Always.
Yeah, but in some ways you kind of push away the bliss and beauty of, you know, finding somebody in a different way, even from your divorce, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think you kind of push away the bliss of actually going into something and letting the chips fall, which I always say, which I know can be scary.
Yeah.
I know giving up that kind of control is like, oh no, I can't have another man have control over this. But it's really not about control. Actually, there's a lot of power involved in that. And it's not about giving the keys up to the master and he controls all your strings. No, it's about, I'm going to free and do this because this is really what this is about. It's about two parties going into this. And I know even now it can be scarier than it was 20 years ago, considering all the tools and the ideas of abundance that technology has given people. I don't find it very useful for the level of like self-sabotaging that people go through. By the way, everyone's been there. You know, I've also been there.
Yeah.
Where I've felt like, damn, I don't want it to be too, you know, I get that. But the action based around like ending it because it's on your terms is obviously not that great.
I was telling one of my guy friends, Terry, he was just on the podcast. I was telling him that like in every relationship I've been in, because he was like, what are you looking for? And I'm like, I'm looking to not be the mommy and I don't want to be the daddy either. I'm always the daddy. Like, I don't want to be.
What do you mean by the daddy?
Like I'm in every relationship. This is just my experience. Every relationship I've been in, I'm the one that, you know, I make the money and I handle all of the things. I run the house.
You pay all the bills?
Yeah. Like
all the bills?
Well, yeah. I mean, the people that I've been with, let's say they're either, you know, their job just doesn't pay as much or, you know, and I just wind up being the mommy or the daddy. And
but what would make you the mom or the, I'm just curious, right? So it would be dad, you're saying, or whatever it is, mom or dad.
Yeah.
Is that you mother them?
Or I have to tell them like what to do or how to dress or
why do you feel like you have to control that though?
Well, because I can't have them walking around with their underwear out of their pants. You know what I mean? It's.
Do you date guys who do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just feel like, and obviously there are men out there who don't dress that way because you're a great dresser. But in my experience, that has been a thing where it's like, I don't know if people just get lazy in relationships or they get too comfortable. And then it's like things don't, like I want to be with someone who's going to grow with me because I'm always growing. I'm always evolving and into a better version of myself. And I think I don't want to get trapped in a relationship where that doesn't happen. Yeah.
I can understand that. So you feel like to avoid that happening, you have to be on them?
Yes. Yeah. I think so.
Huh. How many times does that happen?
Probably three.
Three.
One of it lasted for like 10 years. So, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Part of you maybe love that.
I don't know. I think maybe I just got so tired of it that I was just like, I need a change. I need something different.
Are you? Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Are you willing to give up that kind of control for somebody?
Yeah, if they did what I needed them to do.
You hear that? Everybody hear that? Yeah,
I love that this room's full of men and you guys are all laughing at me.
I'll give up control once he does what I want
if
him
he's
to
doing
do.
what I want him to do, then I don't have to tell him to do it.
Isn't that interesting?
It is, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think I find it hard. I also find it hard to meet guys. Also, at the same time, I've got this weird dichotomy of like, it's hard to meet guys, but I also feel like I already know everybody I need to know. So I don't know.
That was good. I know everybody. I need to know. I need anybody else in my orbit to get the fuck out.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just like, maybe I'm more toxic than I thought. I don't know. I just think dating's challenging. Like what advice would you give me?
Well, I just think that, taking you out of it, because I don't know much about you personally, right?
Yeah.
But in general, like the way you kind of talk, it seems it's just more fear. It's just like disguised as like control, in my opinion. But everybody has that. I just think some people communicate it differently. Some people are a little more anxious or avoidant or whatever it is. And they have experiences that have trained them to be this person. And everybody has that version at some point. But it sounds like more fearful than anything else.
Where do you go? Like, where do you recommend people go to actually meet people?
Well, I think it depends on the type of person you want to meet. Number one, I think it's important to draw an archetype of the type of person you want, and I don't mean like, oh, they're empathetic. Like, I mean like hard rights and wrongs. Like, you have like, I want a guy that maybe focuses on his health and wellness. I want a guy who's productive in some capacity, or, I like guys that typically tend to work in this industry because they have traits that I like. And that once you paint a picture, and age range, obviously, that's a big one too. And then you just have to start thinking about it. Women don't like to do this, but I'm gonna tell you right now, it really does work to kind of narrow down off online, which is trying to find your ideal customer. And they don't want to hear that. They want to hear, well, he comes to me. I say, well, that's not how typically it works, because if you're not finding the guys you want, they're not coming to you. So that means you might have to place that product to where your customers are. You have to put it in front of them. And if you understand, hey, I want a guy 40 to 50. I'm just throwing numbers out there. 40 to 50, and does pretty decently. It doesn't have to be rich or anything, but he does decently and this and that. Then you might want to think about, well, where do 40 to 50-year-olds hang out that do well and that keep their body healthy and everything else? What type of gyms are they going to? What type of restaurants are they going to after work? What type of happy hours are they attaining? They're probably not going out past 9 p.m. on any given night. All these factors, and you have to think about, well, where would they go? What neighborhoods would they be hanging out in? Yeah. I mean, it works, And
the point about you, when you said women expect the guys to come to them, I think I'm guilty of that too. Because I've actually had guys tell me who, when they first met me, they were afraid to approach me just because they felt like intimidated for some, in some capacity. So what advice do you give for women in how to approach men?
I think it's confusing, right? Because I don't tell women to approach men ever, really. But what I do say is that you kind of have to make it so that your store is open for business. And if you don't have that, see, both messages are different for guys and women. I tell guys, you don't look for choosing signals. Like, one, you're not that special. Two, you shouldn't really get them. You should just go after what you want. On the flip side, the women who want the men they want should be sending choosing signals to these men.
How do you do that?
And if you're not willing to do that, you can't complain about what comes on your plate. Yeah. It's just how it happens, right? If you're not willing to look at guys and give a little bit of eye contact and get near them and make a smile, some kind of anything near his proximity, if you're not willing to do that, you must be willing to take whatever comes to you. And they don't like what comes to them. So what else, it's what I find is that it's hard for some women to take that level of control. They'd rather not. They'd rather tell me that, no, they're not finding me. No, they're not coming up to me. No, but it's not. I don't care why they're not doing what you're doing. Are you doing everything you can do? And if not, oops. You know what I mean? You need to figure out how to master doing everything you can do. If a guy were to call in and say, well, I don't know, they're not responding. Are you doing everything you can do? Do you go up to the women that you want? Do you start good conversations? Are you charismatic? Can you make them laugh a second? And then can you get their number? And if you can't do that, is it their fault? Are they the problem? Or is it the shit that you're seeing online? Probably not. You're probably the sucker. Yeah. And I tell women the same thing, and I say it just like that. You're probably the sucker too, because you're not going after what you want. You just complain about the men this, the men that. You're just watching too much shit online, and your brain is rotted from everything you're seeing that they control your dating. The algorithm is your master. Yeah. Well, I'm rambling, but my overall point is that I think that people need to start taking control of their life.
Yeah.
And that means I need to figure out, am I doing everything I can do for the type of partner I want? And if not, I just find it's hard for them to see it that way because it puts a lot of responsibility. It's a hard thing for people that are stuck in habits, in general. I'm no different. Everybody has routines and structure.
Yeah.
But we have to start having fun and dipping out of these things and doing something that might be a little crazier or out of your schedule or out of your routine, and crack a smile or get near a guy. Say hi in a passing guy that you see in a gym all the time.
Yeah.
Do these things that are things that you don't hear about online to do, but they fucking work, and they work because it's human nature to work. We are social animals at the end of the day. And if you're not willing to flex that muscle, you may lose it, or you may just never get what you want. And I think that's sad.
A lot of my girlfriends use the phrase, if he wanted to, he would. What do you think about that phrase? Because I see it everywhere.
Yeah, they all say that because it alleviates responsibility from their plate. Everybody has that, right? Everybody says if he wanted to, he would. Yeah, he may want to, but you make him not want to.
Yeah.
He may want to, but you make him not actually want to do it. That's possible too. Now, yeah, there's always any given scenario. You're right in some cases, but in most cases, that's not really the case. There's a lot of reasons a guy wouldn't actually do. He may actually want to, but you're making him not want to do. That's always possible too. But I hear a lot of women say that about a variety of things. They say if he wanted to do that, he would have done that.
Yeah.
Well, why is that the case? If he wanted to, but if he reaches out to you and you don't respond for a day, and then you respond tomorrow and you say, well, sorry, I was really busy. You make him not want to. He's like, no, I don't want to. And now you can justify that to your friends. You can say, if he wanted to come to me, he would have come to me. Why?
Yeah.
What about you is so special?
Right.
Honestly, nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about you personally.
Yeah,
in general, when people say this, it's just this weird complexity about this like self-empowerment. Again, I think that goes back to that. It's like, this is what they get fed about men. This is what they get fed about dating. It's kind of like a weird little entitlement push to them. And there's nothing wrong with feeling good about yourself, but there's many things wrong if you want something and you're doing the complete opposite about what should go down for two people that want to enter something interesting, right? Like there's always have to be a give and take. And by the way, a lot of the girls that say that, which I've also realized, the ones that preach that also on the back end with the guys they really like, they're putting themselves in position. They'll DM the guy that you really wouldn't, my girls would never do that. They would, and they do.
Yeah.
They just don't tell you guys, and they don't tell their friends, but they do. They make themselves ultra available for the guys they really like. They just won't do it for the guy they're on the fence about, or the one that wants to prove himself, or the one that they don't see as up here or like a mediocre. They won't do it for him, but they'll do it for him.
Do most of the people who come to you for advice, do they want committed relationships? Are there any people who are also like in open relationships?
No, none of them,
Which isn't that basically a situationship? I don't know. I mean,
situationship is anything outside of a relationship. Yeah. So that's why I say there's nothing like naturally wrong with a situation.
Yeah.
It's just about what it is you want. Most people, I would say most women specifically that come to me, all want relationships or some kind of commitment in whatever realm that is. Some it's marriage, some they've had marriage, some they don't want marriage, but they still want commitment. They still want a good guy that they just want one dude that they want to be with. That's typically 98% of the time for sure.
For women.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, men, it's different, and I think that depending on the phase of life the guy is in could mean a variety of different things,
How so? What is it like inside a guy's brain? Like, that's why I wanted to like.
Well, depending on geography is a big difference too, but most women don't actually understand guys. Unless you've been with a guy for a while, you may understand them more, but they don't understand men, and because they've never had to, and they've never really had to do to get a guy. They only have to understand him to keep a good one around. And that's like a difficult thing to process.
It is, yeah.
And most women don't understand the guy's life phase now in 2026. Not like it was in 1980, but like it is now. Which essentially is, I talk to women that are, most of my call, most, not all, but most are 30 to 50, right? Just blanket slate. And the reason that is because a lot of girls that are in big cities or whatever, at 23 to 28 aren't really looking for relationships. They're looking to advance their career. That's why they go into big cities, opportunities.
Yeah.
And yes, they like dealing with guys, but they're not like, I want this right now.
Yeah.
The problem is that when they get to a point, they kind of feel like it's a switch. Like when they want it and they're ready, he'll be there and he's not there. And they're trying to figure out, well, why is he not there?
Yeah.
I'm there. Why is this guy Peter Panning right now?
Yeah.
What's his problem? The problem is he went through a different phase than you. If you really think about it, break it down. A guy at 23, you at 23.
Yeah.
You're dating the 28-year-old. just because he has more
always.
resources.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, right? He's got more of this, he's got more of that. The 24-year-old was never really commitment for you at that moment.
Yeah.
By the way, he knows that too. He knows that he's not going to be able to compete most of the time with a guy that's 30 or 31.
Yeah.
Every guy's going through this. If they've been, they feel that. Go up the ladder. 26, same thing. She's dating a 30-year-old guy.
Yeah.
And she might not be ready for commitment, but she's there for him at the moment. But then what happens is once you hit that 30, 31, 32, 33 mark, for the first time ever, those guys that are at that point are committable options because of for their counterparts and for girls that are 25 and for women that are 40. Committable options. So that's why I'm saying that the life now for most cases, this is the case. That's why it's difficult for those guys to say, well, I was maybe ready at that moment, but I don't know if I'm ready right now because I'm still working on my career, but I'm also, my options expanded more than I had when I was 25, 26. It's different. And the girls that typically want them do want commitment. They don't just want to sleep with these guys.
Right.
That's why it's seen different. That's why these guys are saying, well, I don't know really about if I want to like settle right now. Because of that reason. And I think if women can look back and say, yeah, well, maybe that kind of makes somewhat sense. They can understand why maybe a 34-year-old guy is not going to commit to a 43-year-old woman. It's not because he doesn't like you or see that. It's because he's at a phase in his life right now that makes it really hard for him to see it that way. Not to say that guys can't commit then. Of course they can. And I've seen it all the time. But when the idea is, why won't he commit? I don't understand. One, he probably doesn't like you enough to commit to you. But two, you have to consider the life phase he's in right now if he was doing anything.
I told you I'm going to turn 44 soon.
Yeah.
And I hear from like people born in, 2001, people born in 1975, people born, like it runs the gamut. What do you think about like age gap relationships? Do you think that do those work? I
think they can work. Don't get me wrong. I'm not against them. It's just about phase of life. It's not really the age itself. It's the phase of life that people are in. I don't, that's why I always say it's not about the gap per se. For example, if a 60-year-old woman meets a 48-year-old guy, I've seen that work. I've seen that work because of life phase. Maybe they've had kids. Maybe they haven't had kids. But the phase of life they're in might be a little different, or vice versa, right? Same thing. But it's when you get younger, it's when the phase of life for the guy between like the 29 and 35, that gap with an older woman is really difficult. I haven't seen those work that much for a plethora of reasons.
Why?
Because he's in that phase. He's in the phase of building. He has the most options he's ever had in his life for commitment.
Yeah.
And if he hasn't had kids at 40 or past 40, then you could say, okay, well, maybe he never wanted them. And he's probably past the phase of F-boy era. Yeah. Now, sure, you may meet guys that are not, but it's really about probabilities.
Does every guy go through an F-boy phase?
No, because they can't go all through an F-boy phase. That requires work. It's like when I see...
Does it?
See, women... See, that was funny, because I was on a podcast with somebody else. She goes, girls have hoe phases. I'm like, yeah, but hoe phase is literally just you letting goals in. Go ahead. That's what that is. Honestly, when a guy has to do it, he has to score the goal. You understand, right? Like if you get guys, if 50 guys approach you, how many guys you going out with?
I mean, knowing me, none of them.
50,
but
okay, let's take you out of it.
But I mean,
let's say the average girl, let's say she gets 50 guys saying, I want to take you out. I mean, or I want to go. She probably, she finds one or two of them suitable for her.
Yeah.
It's just how it goes. So, an F-boy for a guy, of course, he's going to be the girl. He's going to be the guy that most girls want. Of course he is.
Yeah.
That's why he's an F-boy.
What, and F-boy, where did that come from? Like, where did this word come from?
Somebody made it. Women probably made it up. I don't know. But guys make up things about women all the time too.
Yeah.
So somebody probably made it up. Probably a girl made it up.
I find that so
I'm not sure where it came from, but
yeah.
I get the idea of it. It basically is saying a guy that deals with a lot of girls.
Yeah.
And is not committing.
And so one of my girlfriends recently said to me something about how right now we're in cuffing season. What is cuffing season? Can you explain that to me? Like, what does that mean? Cuffing
season is a reason to let weather control your standards, basically.
Weather?
Yeah. When it gets cold out, people need somebody to cuddle up with. That's really what that is. Oh, all the time. And it happened in November or December. It's just a term that people use really to say, but he would be nice maybe next to me. It's really one of those things. Cuffing season is just really another way to like lower standards because it's cold outside.
Got it. Let the goal in, right?
Yeah, fine. I mean, I'm cold. It's warm. It gets warm together. We could share a movie or something.
Do you often hear from people who are either coming out of divorce or going through breakups?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely do. I talk to them a lot, actually. I think both are different. I think it depends on how long people have been in these relationships for, right? And if they've, I talked to someone who've never dated in their life because they've been with a guy since they were 21 or 22, and now they're 46, and they've never dated before. Ironically, they're in a better position than people who date quite often. Not to say it's easier for them, but they don't have all the preconceived notions and baggage that people who are not that great at dating have, and so they're kind of more of like a fresher start.
Really?
And they have an open vantage point, and they can now create narratives about dating that some that have had a lot of dating experience can't create because their mind won't let them do that. They've experienced with dating. It's like, it's horrific. It's terrible. It's bad. It's boogeyman shit.
Yeah.
And then you get the other people who hear that stuff and then create it from that, but haven't really experienced dating. So I think that they're at a better advantage if they actually frame their mind around dating a little bit better. They have a better perspective about dating that's more healthy, that's more likely to gain them something that they want than people who've been dating for 5-10 years that have just not made it work right. That's what I've seen personally. But I think it's very hard when you don't know what dating is nowadays, and then you go out and you're experiencing this. And I just think you got to be prepared. I think if you go through a divorce, personally, I think that you might have to take some time to yourself.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not just rush into shit. And I don't find that helpful if you do. And so as long as you've had that time and you establish a framework of dating where you don't go out here and, if you want to go have your fun.
Yeah.
It's just about what you want and not knocking it. I've talked to plenty of women who just said, I needed to get things out of my system, or I've never had this before.
Yeah.
Beautiful thing if that's what you want. I'm not here to judge you, but just don't get too comfortable there because it will get rough.
No, that's great advice. I think you do need to take some time, especially if you're coming out of a divorce. I went out on one date. Time? I did, but that was after I went on one date because this guy was just like on me. Like he insisting that we go out. So I'm like, all right, fine, we'll do a dinner. And I kept reiterating, this is just a friendly dinner. Okay. Like he was so sweet and really excited, but like the whole time we're there, and I felt like he was trying to sell himself to me, and it was a little uncomfortable. Like he's very successful. Any girl that you talk to would love this guy, right? But for me, it just felt weird because we're at this table and he's talking about all of his Teslas and all of his bonuses. That this is in one dinner. He's like telling me I'll be great on his Christmas card. I'm the Rachel to his Ross. Like it was. So okay. So let me just say something. So you asked me before. I don't know if you asked me. Maybe I was just talking about it. But you're like, no,
we talked about where do guys struggle.
Yeah.
And you made a good point.
Yeah.
Because I want to point this out. This is where guys typically tend to struggle. Yes, he was probably good on paper, but I'll tell you one thing.
He's like 6'3". He's all the things.
All the things until he's not all the things, right? It's just, that's always, not always. That tends to be the case where guys will try to overprove and overassert themselves and their success and their work. And they're doing a huge disservice.
Yeah.
What maybe would have made you twist, or if you like this guy, what would have made you like him more is if he just remained a little more mysterious and he didn't tell you a lot about his life. And he actually was just him. And you'd be really curious about this guy. You'd say, why isn't he flexing on me?
Yeah.
He's actually just humble about it, or he's quiet, or he doesn't want to talk about it as much. He's asking you more questions. That would have probably made you switch your mind and not been like a little turned off about this guy. Like, why is he trying to flex me on this?
Yeah.
Because it is a turnoff.
Well, and I remember sitting at the table thinking, am I supposed to be selling myself right now? Like it just seemed.
No, that's too much.
Yeah.
He did too much. I agree with you. That's a lot. That's a lot on a first date too.
Well, and then, so after that, I was like, I need to take some time to myself. So I told my girlfriend, I'm like, I'm taking myself off of all of these apps. I'm not going on any dates. I just don't want to. I just needed to be like alone. And I love going out alone to eat, to do like, all kinds of stuff, right? I got really comfortable doing that. And I don't need the company. But I feel like then a lot of my guy friends, like when I was married, they obviously never bothered me in that way. But it's like, I thought they were just my guy friends. So I thought that they would be a safe space. No, you know what I mean? Because they're my friends, and we've been friends. Like some people that I have known for like 15 years, and I never thought of them because I was married. So nothing changed in my mind. But then suddenly, like guy friends started like hitting on me or asking me out in a way where I'm like, I thought we were just going to a movie, or I thought, and is that like common? Because I felt like, can girls and guys be friends? Because I think they can. I mean, I have lots of guy friends, but it's like what I've noticed is since I've been single, it's like things are weird and blurry, and I don't know what to do.
One, it depends on the girl if guys can be friends with her most of the time, if I'm being honest. But you generally know. And it's not that, listen, of course they can. It just depends on how we define friend.
Yeah.
If we're talking about going out to dinner together because you guys really love each other's company, or going to a movie, I mean, I think you stretch it because guys, we call these orbiters. They're called orbiters, like this real term. They'll orbit around.
Yeah.
And they'll wait for moments where they don't want to risk being an asshole or risk the friendship, but they'll wait until you make that kind of suggestion, or you imply, or you're free, and all these things. Because I think it's okay to have distant friendships. I just think that once you start doing things with guys, you have to ask yourself a question. Would a guy do that? Would guys really do that with girls they find unattractive? Mm-hmm. The answer is no, they wouldn't. Unless she's like a real dude. Right. I'm just calling it straight. Like they really wouldn't do that.
I know it. I'm like, that to me, like when one of my colleagues here is like, you're one of the boys. Like you're.
And maybe for some you are,
right?
I'm not saying you don't have that flair or attitude about it, but I would say just a vast majority of the time, guys will wait around for 20 years. And I've seen it firsthand.
Really?
Yeah. Years, like 3 years, 4 years. I've seen even 20 up to. Where it's not that they're relying on this girl, but they're there in case the opportunity presents itself. That's really what I'm saying.
So what would your advice be to a girl? Let's say her guy friend is now available. What would your advice be to her to approach him? Or should she not?
Well, I thought she was just friends.
Right. But I'm just asking for a friend.
Well, the thing is too, right? That's what I mean. Like there's so many mystery gray areas in this friendship that create that kind of dynamic.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're talking about a friend.
Yeah.
Which is, what should she do?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, she should suggest something. She should suggest a hangout. If you guys are just friends, what's the flaw in that?
Right. But I mean, like if you wanted to ruin the friendship, right? And then
you have to be prepared to ruin the friend. I mean, it's a little bit different from men and women in that sense, but yeah, you have to be prepared to say that it's not really a friendship, because you have to accept that I like this person. And if that's not there, I think there's some kind of like delusion with people. And guys do this too sometimes. They're like, oh, I'm really friends with her. They're just talking their way into accepting the fact that we're close.
Yeah.
But girls would do this. So girls will kind of ignore this. And I'll get back to your original question. But girls will ignore the friendship thing, even though they really know in the back of their head that he likes her. They'll ignore it. And they'll ignore it because if they accept that that is true, they'd have to do something about it because they're kind of leading him on.
See, and I don't ignore things. I think I'm just kind of like, I'm missing the cues or
he touched my leg and kissed my cheek, but I didn't really get that cue. You know, I didn't see that.
Yeah. No, I mean,
I'm kidding.
But it's because it's usually not that obvious. And like some guy friends who have approached me have been a big surprise to me. Yeah. Where I'm
they probably waited.
Yeah.
Right. On the sideline.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're like, oh, she's free now. Uh-oh.
But it's ironic you say that. One of them was a football player.
He was waiting.
And he just recently, he messaged me. Really great guy. I absolutely adore him. And
would you date him?
No,
we're like airing it out right now.
You know, but I'm just saying, like,
you never saw him that way.
No, I always saw him as a friend. He was a colleague. So I don't know. Relationships are weird. It's hard to.
This is the whole friendship thing.
Once I put you in a box, though, that's my problem. I can't get you out of that box. Like, so it's hard for me to.
Well, yeah, obviously you don't have it for him then.
Yeah.
You know, because there are other people that you put in boxes. You're like, I'm only keeping this box here because it makes me feel safe and comfortable. I know where this is.
Yeah.
Are there guys that can hop out of that box? You'd be like, damn, I did really like him before.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Do you think that it's okay to stay friends with an ex? Is that?
I think it depends on how you define the friendship. I think that if I think if you're going and hanging out with them and doing things like that, no, I don't find that okay at all. Because for some people, that's really just like an emotional crutch. Now, if they were married to you, I think that's a little bit different story.
Mm-hmm.
If you have children, obviously a different story. But just like you were dated for years or you were in a relationship, I think it's kind of a crutch for people. It's like, and it does more hurting than not because you keep in touch with them, you think about them, you think about memories, and you start seeing somebody new, but you go hang out with your ex. It's just messy.
Yeah, one of my girlfriends was talking to me about how she's dating this guy, and he still hangs out with his ex-girlfriend, and it makes her really uncomfortable. And I didn't even know. I told her, I was like, well, you should just communicate that to him, and what he does is his business. But
yeah, is she in a relationship with him or no?
They're just dating.
First off, I can understand her point, which is true. I mean, think about it. They're leaving you to go hang out with their ex. It doesn't sit right. It's almost like you're not even ready to date. You didn't let go of this person enough that you still crave whatever they have. Might not even be sexual. It might just be you like them. But either way,
Comfortable,
I feel like it gets in the way of like leaving the door open for somebody new and fresh to come in. I just don't find it helpful. That's all.
What is your best first date advice?
I mean, there's a couple, and I think most people overthink it. Well, I talked to a lot of women, so I'm just going to speak in that sense here. I just think that most people overthink it. Most guys do too, but they think about it differently. But I would say you have to have fun. You got to, yes, you want to understand. You guys want the same things, very important. But you also want to have fun, and you also want to have a little chemical energy. You want the chemistry to happen. And number one, you got to be honest about what you like, what you don't like. In terms of hobbies and stuff like that, don't lie to appease the other side. You're setting a bad base. Number two, you got to have fun. Don't take yourself too seriously. Do not treat this like an interview. It's not really an interview. Yes, you can ask them good questions that do not feel like you're trying to qualify or disqualify them. It's really about you getting to know them. So you got to have fun. You got to have chemistry and connection. I think are both important. But you do have to understand, do you guys see yourselves in the same way? Do you see yourselves having similar lifestyles or wanting the same things in terms of outcomes? Those things are important. And I think that you have to get those off on date one. Again, it doesn't have to be transactional. There's fun, creative ways and fun things you can ask them that will get those answers out. I think that's very important. You don't want to make it to date 4 and realize you don't want the same things. You don't want to live anywhere near each other, and you don't want marriage or children, and he does, or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
That's not good, So I think these things kind of have to be in play. Those are things I would probably say.
Yeah, and I'm sure you get like millions of questions in your DMs and stuff, but what is like the one question that you wish women were asking? Because like you said, they're focusing on the wrong thing. What's the one question we should all be asking?
I think the one question that every woman should ask is, who do I have to become to get the kind of guy I want? It's not an easy question to ask because it puts responsibility on yourself. But it goes sort of back to identity, in my opinion. Like there's certain people that do things, like, I was in an 8-month situationship with a guy. Well, a wife or committed wouldn't do that. That's just not in her ideology.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. That's a lot of wasted time without understanding if somebody wants to commit in a relationship with you. So I think there's certain things like that are important.
Should I have a roster?
No,
I don't have a roster, but I'm asking. I keep hearing this, and I'm like,
people are
am I
going to have
supposed
different
to build
opinions on
one?
this, but I'm going to tell you right now, like if a lot of women are going to tell women to have rosters because it's empowering. Again, it's just another self-empowerment tool.
One of my girlfriends told me I should always have 3 in the cycle, and I'm like, I can't. I personally believe in, and maybe I'm old-fashioned, but I believe in like monogamous dating.
Yeah, listen, I think that's creating like a really toxic cycle with women. And I think that they don't even understand it to that point. They just do it because it feels like it's optional and it's plentiful and it's abundant to some extent. And if a lot of women like the roster stuff because one guy could supplement what the other guy doesn't have. And a lot of them are actually waiting for the one guy they really want to commit, and they keep the others for attention. So it's most of the time it tends to be that. But I don't find it helpful because it's actually very confusing. And it actually, once you start getting intimate with these guys.
Also a waste of time.
Yeah. And once you start getting into with these guys, it's like, there's like a confusion. It's like, wow, I'm being pulled emotionally in different ways. It's hard.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the surface level, it's so great. It's so, celebrate the number of guys you have and it's fun. But like, it actually is more of a burden. And you're not actually, if you have a roster, it means you're on one, honestly.
And I was just going to ask you as a follow-up, like, do all guys have a roster?
No. All guys can't really afford a roster, honestly. Just being honest with that.
Yeah.
They can't afford it with their time if they're busy enough, and they definitely can't afford it financially to have a roster. I mean, they can go out and date. See, I think there's a difference, right? You got to distinguish the two. One is going on first or second dates with somebody you're interested in, or seeing somebody consistently for months on end. Like, if we're talking about seeing multiple people consistently, that will someone would call a roster. Going on a first date with somebody while you went on a third date with somebody else, it's not a roster. That means you're trying to feel out, who do I resonate with more? Who do I like more? Who can we build with more? So I think early stage is fine. I think this is where the problem lies. And I think that most of the time people are waiting for that. No. And the answer is, I think most of the time, no, guys don't specifically have rosters. It's really the kind of guy, the funny thing is too, I'm going to venture off for a second, but
Please.
When we talk about guys, when I say guys, most women have an idea when I say guys. They think of the type of guy they like.
Of course.
And they all like the same, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of creates this weird thing, like they kind of ignore all the guys that I'm really talking about. You really picture like, no, the guy's got plenty of options. They all got rosters. And like, you're really imagining the type of guy that every girl likes.
Yeah.
And yeah, they do because they can. And that's really what it is, right? They all complain about the same guys because they all go date the same guys. And not even fighting against it. I think that's just the way people choose, right? Naturally. And that's why I think it's harder for women to understand what attention really means to them. But guys can do it. Those guys can. Most guys can't really afford to have rosters. They can afford maybe at the basic level to talk to a couple girls, a couple months and see how it goes. But long-term rosters, most of the time, that's not happening for most guys.
It just sounds toxic to me. Like, I just don't see how you can get to really have a meaningful connection with someone if you're just on a rotation. Yeah.
I agree. And I think phase of life matters here too, right? Some guys go through this phase of life where once they start getting resources or ability to take girls that want them out more often, they might get in this zone. That's why, the whole 28 to 34-ish range for a lot of guys is that moment that they've never had.
Interesting. Yeah. And for me, it was like in my 20s, I was so focused on my career that I ended an engagement because I was like, I really just wanted to focus on building a career in TV news. And so I did. And I did that for like 20 years. It was awesome. But once I hit 30, I felt like this pressure that like, okay, now I need to get a husband, right? I'm like checking the boxes. Yeah. And so I did. The guy that I married, I proposed to him. It was like a business deal. And I think that's ultimately why I wanted out of that relationship because we were married for 10 years and it was a business deal. Like it was just like we merged our, resources and everything functioned in that way. But it wasn't, I think that's why dating is so hard for me because I never had like a real intimate connection. Right. So maybe that's why I run from it too. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, that could be it. True. That's interesting that you proposed to him and it was like a business deal.
Yeah, it was. I was just like, so I had a job offer. We were in Seattle and I had a job offer in New York and I was going to go and he didn't want me to go. And I'm like, well, I'm not staying for a boyfriend. I'm like, what do you want to do? You want to get married? Like, and he was like, yeah. And we had only been dating for like 6 months. And so we did. It was just, it obviously did not work out only because like for me, even 7 years in, I left because I was like, I'm not happy. Like I can't do this. Then we got back together and I should have stayed gone the first time. It was just it's difficult. But I think I knew what I wanted to look for and that kind of connection. It's just, I think we just not everyone has the tools to be able to go get it. I'm really good with like strategy, business. Like I can build you a whole structure. Like if you have an idea, I can make it a reality. I'm that girl, but I'm bad with like intimate connections.
I get that, and people always have this, right? Guy, girl, there's always things that they have stronger suits in. Nobody's going to be perfect and like, oh, I'm so good over here and I'm so good over here too. Like it's typically, right? That's why you might meet a lot of successful guys that have all these things, but like do not know how to really either talk to women, don't know how to like navigate the conversation right. because they spent so much time focusing on that. And that kind of lacked in their ability to like see when somebody's trying to play them or vice versa. But, you know, I wouldn't put that kind of like pressure on. I get where you're coming from though. I get that.
Do you hear that from other women that call in and ask for advice?
About like specifically like skill sets or like,
or just not knowing how do you approach a relationship, building one? Yeah.
And like, I you know, I tell them like, it's a relationship for you. And it's not like my ideal relationship. It's really about like, what do you want? What are the things you want, you care about? So once you've identified those things, you can identify the type of person you feel like would fit with you. And some people it's different, but yeah, like people have focused on a lot of things throughout their life. And like, I've talked to women that are 40 years old that have never kissed a guy. You know?
Wow.
Yeah. So like that's a very different conversation,
Yeah.
right? Than somebody who has like had a couple dating experiences and slept with one dude and this and that.
Yeah.
But that's a very delicate one, you know? And I've also had, listen, I've had women that have spreadsheets about their dating history that have no luck with guys.
Yeah.
And they said, well, I don't understand. You know, I'm a catch. I said, okay, you're a catch, I guess.
Yeah,
you know, apparently, what does the data tell you?
Yeah.
Does it tell you you're a catch? Because, you know, you're not a mathematician here. Like, what are we doing? Like,
Right.
I don't know why you have to work through this like this. That's an extreme case, but I have seen plenty of those that literally have showed me in a spreadsheet how many dates, how the dates went, number of drinks they've had, like literally the whole shebang.
Wow.
And they have no success in their life in that aspect of it, right? Maybe plenty over here, but none over here. And it's about letting go a bit. You can't have all control here. This isn't about you. You know, you can have plenty of control over your career and your experience professionally, but you don't have that. You have half control over here. You have full control over you, half control of the scenario. And to make two things work and two parties tango, you have to be willing to give a little bit. You know, they don't call it falling in love because you rise. It calls fall. It's a fall. It means you have to let some of your ego down, some of your previous identity, and you have to fall a little bit. That's why both parties need to fall for that factor, because it's bigger than you. It's bigger than you and everything that you want. That's not what dating is about.
What do you think about icks? Like for me, I think like if I like a guy, that's another thing I'll do. Not only challenge him, but then I'll create icks. Like I'll manifest them in my head. I think it's to further push him away. I'm not sure. I don't know. Do you hear a lot about icks?
Yeah, I hear a lot about icks, but I hear the opposite. I observe the opposite actually. Like I think that most of the time, I think that the word ick is obviously much more of a women to tend to use the word ick. And guys have icks too, and for the most part, but it is different. I think it's more of like not like turn him off, like, oh, I don't want to sleep with her, but more of like I'll never take her seriously type ick.
Yeah.
Whereas girls kind of will find icks for reasons, but I do think with the guys, sometimes the girls actually they look past some icks. Maybe you're a little bit different and opposite of that, but again, that's probably another like
that is what I'm getting.
Thing.
Yeah.
But I think for most girls, they tend to look, they create icks for the guys that they finding reasons to not want to pursue things with. But for the guys, I find that for the guys they actually really like that he could do, I think people in general, I think not even just women do this, but I think people, find ways and reasons to like someone. And when they start putting obstacles, there might be, maybe it's something personal, but it's much more of like, I don't see myself there. So I want to create a reason why I don't see myself here. And sometimes those happen, right? Oh, he crossed his leg at a certain extent, or it was this and that. When it's a guy that she respects to that level, don't even bother.
Yeah.
Doesn't mind. Whatever. That's hot.
How long does it take for a guy to decide if he's serious about a girl? Like, is it 6 months? Is it the first 3 dates? Is it?
No, I mean, listen, I think that the whole thing of they know immediately is all false. That's not true. And it's not true for a variety of reasons. They know the idea of her. It's just the reality of her they don't know yet. How could you possibly know you're going to marry this girl? It's all in retrospect they can say that. But at the moment, there's plenty of girls they disqualified that they were really into in the first date and not into in the fourth. So let's call that a spade. So I think that first off, from a commitment standpoint, it's important to know that he should be okay committing within 3 months. Again, I also believe this phase of life things matters, right? So I think if you're somebody who's been married before or has kids, those things matter. Like the 3-month thing is not really a factor at this moment because outcomes that you may want as a woman may not be a factor in this process here. Whereas before, maybe it did, right? Whereas now, marriage maybe not in the forefront of your mind. Kids, maybe you already have them or you don't want them or whatever. That's less of a barrier. And it's more about, do we enjoy each other? Sometimes that takes more time to realize that. So like, 3 to 6 months is fair.
What is the best?
From a commitment standpoint.
Yeah. What is the best dating advice that not that you've ever given, but that you've ever received?
I don't know. I don't know if I've received amazing dating advice, honestly, in my past, but like the advice I gave you that I think are beneficial for women, I also think are beneficial for men. But I'll tell you the best advice I think that I received that helps me deal with things in a way. And yes, I insert my funny moments along the way with it, but is to not push people through the door, but walk them through the door. And I think that's, I use it in everything. So I think it's more of like, you take the empathetic understanding approach because people want to walk with people who want to walk with them too. And, I use that and I apply that across everything. So I think I even do it with dating. It's not really about like, can you be right or can you assert your point or can you go get what you want? It's about, yes, it's part about what you want, but it's part about the person you wants too. And I think you need to kind of come to that place, and it takes a little bit of humility to do that. But it also takes a really powerful lead to do that as well. I've heard that, and I think what applies there, like leadership in general, also applies to dating. And I think it's all relationship building, and I find that very fascinating.
Do you feel like you're the real life Hitch? Like
no, but I will tell you one thing. It's funny. No, but when I saw Hitch, I don't remember what year it came out in.
It's such a good movie.
Great movie. And when I first saw it, I must have been like 12, I don't know, whenever it came out.
How old are you now?
37.
Okay.
So I saw it, and that is the one single movie that made me want to move to New York.
Really?
Yeah. I'm from like an hour north in the city.
Okay.
But that movie, for whatever reason, like I was just, the whole vibe of it, I was like, I'm moving to New York. And I was like the one solo movie that I've ever saw.
Yeah.
I want to do that. So it inspired me for sure.
Have any of your clients ever, have they gotten hitched?
Like married?
Yeah.
Or like engaged?
Yeah.
Engaged, yes.
Really?
Yeah.
That must feel so good.
It does, but like, even for me, like I like even my sessions, right? Like I don't pitch myself as, I don't need your frequent sessions. Like, and by the way, I don't think I do it any justice. Like mine's are typically like 1, maybe 2 and dones. So like I don't stay in constant closeness with it. I get a lot of new people.
Yeah.
But I know my limits. I tell them I'm not a therapist and I'm not a relationship counsel. So I don't think there's a need to be seeing me like this unless there's like big things you want to run stuff by, fine.
But you give good advice. And that's the thing. Like therapists usually don't give advice. They ask more questions. And, because they're trying to make you pull it out of yourself. And I think people they just want an answer.
Well, that too. But I also think that therapists are like incentivized for recurring. They're not one and doneers. They need to have clients. So this is and then, by the way, I think therapy is naturally a very good remedy for a lot of people, but I think that the incentive structure for therapists, it creates this like, people have been in therapy for 7, 8 years. I'm like, what are we talking about? 7, 8 years?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? You're supposed to graduate at some point. You can go back at another point, but you need to practice what you learned, pal.
Right.
Like, what are we talking about? 7, 8 years. Like you're relying on therapy and that's like a crutch now for you.
Yeah.
So mine's a little bit quick, that we do the session and then if they ever want to follow up, if they have a quick question, run it by me. But like, I don't need your session booked. If you want to book it, go ahead. I don't get them to want to do it though. I'm not trying to do it.
What's the worst date you've ever heard about from a client or someone who called in?
Worst date. I mean, they generally speaking.
I just want to know, like, what's the craziest shit you've heard?
I mean, there's so many. I'm trying to remember because I get them so much. I'm like, they have, I mean, I get a lot that like, well, not a lot. I've gotten like a handful that like, they caught their man cheating because he was in a wheelchair. He was like paraplegic. They caught another girl pushing him. and stuff like that. I swear to God. So like, I'm like, damn, these dudes are getting it like that?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. But I'm like, damn. I'm saying, I'm dead serious. I know I was like, damn, I'm kind of impressed. Not like, honestly.
Yeah.
The fact that he can pull that, it's impressive. Like I know the average guys can't even get one. He's getting two. It's fucking unbelievable. So that's impressive, honestly.
Yeah.
It's a quality that I wish.
Oh my gosh.
It's just really interesting to me. What else? I mean, I've heard some good first date stories, but not that I would air it out on here. But I think in general, it's all, a lot of the interesting first date ones are like the guys that are become a little creepier. They overinsert themselves. They make for entertainment, but maybe not at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh yeah, that was a bit much. Or, I've heard girls or guys actually that have left the first, they walked in, seen it and bounced.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's obviously not what anybody wants.
Is there anything that you were hoping to talk about on this podcast or anything you have coming up or anything, I don't know, anything that you wanted me to ask you that I didn't ask you?
No, in general, I was just curious about your dating life. Like, what's that like? How would you rate it 1 to 10?
It's not happening. There's no dating. Like
None?
there's none. No, there's no, there's a guy that I like.
Uh-oh. Shout out to Chad.
But he like, we have
Mutuals?
lots in common.
Oh.
Insofar as like we're around the same age, both been divorced.
Yeah.
But I think he's in his F-boy era.
How many dates you been on?
No, we haven't gone on a date. Like we've just hung out. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, I don't even know, like, how do you define a date? Like,
did you go over his house? Is that what you're saying?
no.
Oh.
No. I mean, we've hung out, we've had dinner, but I didn't consider, okay.
No?
I didn't. No, I just, we were just hanging out.
And hold on, but this is how when we get into situationships.
Okay.
And I gotta be honest, this is typically tends to be how it starts.
Okay.
Is that they don't want to see, I'm not saying you, but let's take you out of this. Let's put anybody else here. This is another girl that'd say, oh, I'm going out.
We can examine me. I'm not afraid to, it doesn't cross the line.
They'll say, listen, I just want to see how it goes and I don't want anything serious. I don't know what I want. And it's not a problem not knowing what you want, but when you're, when they can't call it a date, or it's more of like, oh, we just hung out, or I went to his place.
Because it's so casual and like nothing happened,
Totally get that.
Yeah.
But it's like my point is that it's like a way to like alleviate the pressure a little bit. And I can understand that, right? It's more of like I don't want to call it anything because I don't want to over expect or anything from it. So let's just see where it goes.
We definitely flirt. Like it's very clear. It's not,
I mean, how'd you guys meet?
Just through mutual friends.
But obviously it's romantic.
Yeah. And he made it very clear from the jump. Yeah.
Oh, so it was definitely a date.
But I think he's an F-boy. I'm not sure.
Why do you say that? What gives you signs that he's an F-boy?
I mean, I don't know. I just feel that I don't know. My journalist gut instinct tells me that. I'm not really even sure what the definition of an F-boy is. I just assume he's got some kind of roster and is a serial dater.
Why?
And I'm just
out of curiosity, like, what made you assume that? Like, what about him made you say, oh, he must have girls?
I mean, he's very funny, he's a catch, but I don't know. I just don't take what he says to me very seriously because I'm like, you probably say this to everyone. Like,
but right, I hear you, but I'm just curious, like, what made you put him in that category? Is it just because he must be attractive to other girls?
And I've heard his friends razz him, and make comments. So it just kind of like led me to believe like, oh, I've got your number. And so does everyone else.
well, let's take you out of this as well again. But like, women love fuckboys. And I'm going to say that, not saying you. I'm not saying you. In general.
Yeah.
They all complain about him. They all choose him. And the reason they do is a lot of social proof that goes into guys that can get girls. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying the way that they tell me what they want.
Yeah.
Some women will call in and say, oh, I want a really nice guy who does this and this and this. Tell me about your ex. And they tell me about this dude they used to see who was an F-boy and this and that.
Yeah.
I said, look, you tell me what you want and then I see how you choose. You're done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Done. They're lying to me right now. And not you.
Yeah.
Like they will say this, but they choose in that way. And by the way, You didn't actually give any like thing clear that this guy was F-boy.
Yeah.
I think maybe you're thinking that he must be attractive, must get girls.
Yeah.
And I may be one of them.
Right.
Right.
Right. And I'm just not interested in being on a roster.
But there's nothing you have to back that as much.
Yeah.
Like
No,
maybe
that's
he's
true.
just like a really attractive dude and like, or whatever he is, like productive or whatever it is that you like about him.
Yeah. What I like about him is he's really great at the art of conversation. Like
Is he
he's
a good
very
communicator
witty,
with
very
you?
banter. Yeah.
That sounds like a catch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he like replies immediately. It's wild. Yeah.
I mean, it's a good thing, you know.
Yeah.
Girls like guys that can get girls. I'm
Probably
not
because he
saying
was on his phone
F-boy.
though talking to some other girl. You know what I mean? Like
See, this is where social
This is where
media is
my
fucking
mind
us
goes.
up.
Yeah.
No, listen. I mean, does he display interest in you? Does he ask you out?
Yeah.
Does he ask you out to hang out to see you?
Well, it's when he is in town. Yes. Yeah.
So he travels.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So
how many times you guys been out?
A handful. Yeah.
In like
I only
2
met him like a
months?
couple months ago. So
Okay, like
yeah.
oh, okay.
And he lives on a different coast right now. So
Oh, he lives over there. Okay.
yeah.
But you talk often.
Yeah.
Okay. Those are all good.
Yeah.
I don't like, I'm not the biggest fan of long distance, but
Yeah.
people make it work, but it's really hard.
I've never even attempted that.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Yeah.
For most people, it's really hard. It's just naturally. But okay. Well, that's good. I don't see any flags immediately. I know that, maybe there's something in you that says, oh, he's probably an F-boy.
No, he's definitely a good person. I know he's a good person. Yeah.
So what if you sleep with another couple of girls? What is that? He's a great guy. What?
He's a good guy though. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not really sure where I will go in this, and I hate using the word journey, like my dating journey or whatever. But like for me, marriage wasn't what I wanted it to be. And I honestly don't even think I went in prepared to be. I shouldn't have been married. But I don't know if I would commit to someone again. Because then you are putting trust and releasing control to someone else ultimately.
Well, you mean commit? You mean like in terms of marriage or just in general?
Well, not just in general, like to be in a committed relationship. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's the beauty of it. I don't know. Some people don't want that, and that's okay too. It just depends on what you want. If you're somebody who just doesn't want commitment, nothing wrong with that. Like I think that's great.
Yeah.
I just think as long as it's really what you want, as long as it's really something you really don't want, or is it just more of like, I just don't want to feel hurt or feel like I am vulnerable ever again?
Mm-hmm.
Then maybe there's a couple of questions, but.
Yeah. Where can people find more information about you?
Benny Inc. I'm on Benny Inc. on TikTok and Instagram, BENNYINC. But yeah, that's about that.
Do you have any events coming up or anything?
I had one. My first event was in October that I just did in New York. Oh, it was amazing. I loved it. And like the room was packed. Everybody had a great time.
What was it for?
It was called Date Night with Benny. And like, it was, along all topics I talk about, but I made it fun. I went down into the audience. I'm getting Q&As. I'm interacting. It was a lot more of like an interaction. It's kind of like my live, but in person. And it was very difficult because I kind of underestimated it, how difficult it would be. But I want to do more of those. So I think, might be Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm aiming for that, but we'll see. Hopefully we can get it done.
Awesome.
I don't know. We'll see.